Good afternoon, everyone. It's Chapman Mack. Of course, it's Friday. We're glad to have you. For those of you that are our loyal viewers, we're thankful for you joining us. And for those of you that are new to what we do, welcome, welcome, welcome. Nadeem, how are you today, sir?
Oh, doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Not the week I wanted to have, but there's always next week. So
Yeah, so at one of my other businesses, we do like a little huddle, and we talk about you know things, like good things and burning issues and things like that. And sometimes the good news is that I'm alive.
yeah, I'll take it. Hey, listen, after what I had, and you know this, after what I had last week going on with me, hospital, I'm happy to be alive. So that's always a good thing.
Yep,
Always.
yep. So if we're breathing, hey, that's good news.
That's always good news. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so what are we going to talk about? I know you had some questions.
So interesting thing that Microsoft is doing, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm definitely going to have Nadeem really expound on this because it's really to me, I love it. For lack of a better term, it's dope. I love what Microsoft is doing here, and they're coming out with their Windows 365 cloud PC, uh, essentially desktop as a service, to replace your Windows desktop on a PC, and I think it's phenomenal. And I really want Nadeem to kind of tell us, the meat and potatoes of this, because with the brief conversation we had, I'm so excited about this because I just kind of feel that it will really save the shelf life of machines as a result of all of this being in. I could be wrong, but tell us a little more about this.
So basically, it extracts the OS away from the hardware that people have.
Mhm.
And just to give you a little brief history, so in the past, Microsoft has had what they call terminal server back in the day, and then it started to be known as remote desktop, and then remote desktop session hosts, and all that. So RDS, remote desktop sessions. And then you may have heard of something called Windows Virtual Desktop.
Yeah.
So from a long time, Microsoft's vision has been to separate out the Windows from the hardware. So, in other words, it doesn't matter what device you have, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a OS, like a Chrome OS or whatever device it is, that we still give you your own personal Windows. So it's good news, bad news scenario. So if this happens and this gets traction, what's going to happen is, I don't know if you remember, but in the past years, there's always been a huge upgrade cycle. Whenever a new version of Windows used to come out, it was a huge upgrade cycle.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen when you don't need to upgrade your local device because your Windows is running in the cloud? Doesn't matter what device you use. I mean, you could be using your handheld, your smartphone, and connect to your Windows machine, your Windows PC in your smartphone. How good is that? So what does that do to that upgrade cycle? So it's going to probably impact that industry. What I'm trying to get to is, I think it's a bad spot for Intel to be in.
Really?
And the reason I say that is because, look at it this way. Apple is moving away from Intel chips. Microsoft is killing their upgrade cycle. Intel CPUs are known to be energy hogs. Where are we going with this? So the thing is, the future, I think Intel is playing a smaller and smaller role when it comes down to things. The bigger and bigger role is going to be some of the reduced instruction set chipsets, like some of the ARM processors, some of the GPUs, like from NVIDIA and AMD. Some of those kind of processors are going to be taking off. But I think the Intel x86 architecture is going to be kind of what Linux was in the server space. So not a lot of people use Linux, but pretty much everybody who's running a server uses some kind of Linux. So Intel chips, I think, over the years may end up being these chips that are only used in servers, and in the server machines that basically power the cloud, and not the handhelds or the devices that users interact with. So that's where we're going now. With this current version of Windows 365, Microsoft is taking a step further. So we always had, not always, but we had Windows Virtual Desktop. We had remote desktop services in Azure, which was cloud-based machines. And that's how we've been deploying or moving workloads into the cloud. But now Microsoft is taking it a step further by obfuscating the management of the resources from the user. So in other words, you have 1, 2, or 3, like fixed configs to choose from, like low end, mid level, and high end machines. That's it. You just choose those machines, and then on the back end, Microsoft manages where that hardware is, how it replicates it, how it provides you resiliency, load balancing, all that stuff. Microsoft abstracts that from you, so you don't have to worry about any of that. You just pick a machine and you run with it. And the beauty of it is, since it's in the cloud, you can start a Word document on your smartphone, switch to your tablet, and continue writing it, and then drive home an hour later, connect from your home machine, and continue writing that same document.
Dang, wow.
I mean, that just changes the whole way people do things, right? Now, granted, some of our customers who already are in the cloud, they have this capability right now, but there's a difference. The difference is the operating system that these systems use is a server-side operating system. With Windows 365, it's going to be the desktop-side operating system, and there are some very subtle nuances. There are differences between the two. So an example is, let's say you have 5 users on a server, and one of those users runs some kind of app that basically kills the CPU. It takes up all the CPU. Is, maybe it's Bitcoin mining or something. So it's like going haywire, and so that will impact all the other users on that server. However, with Windows 365, that there is no single server, so Microsoft is already controlling how much resources a single machine can use. So now you can peg your own Windows 365, but all the other users in the office who are on Windows 365 are not going to be impacted. And we don't have to worry about CPU arbitration, memory arbitration, disk arbitration. We don't have to worry about any of that because Microsoft's going to take care of that. So it really opens up the whole way we are setting up things, and really brings to life the vision that Microsoft's had for a few years now. And Microsoft's been trying, little by little, they've been trying different things. First it was RDS, then it was Windows Virtual Desktop, then it was Windows 10 Remote Desktop Edition, right? So they actually enabled that. And it was all just to get to this point where now it's an abstracted Windows 365. Just like what Office 365 did to Exchange. I think that's what it's going to do to desktops, to Windows.
So let me. So a couple questions regarding this, and I'm not sure. This might be some burning questions that a few people watching might have. So, of course, you talk about something that is almost a sore spot for me. Is when I'm running multiple applications on my Windows Surface, I see a noticeable decrease in performance. So are you saying that with this new Windows 365, is that all, or the different applications that I'm using I don't actually have to use the resources that are currently on my laptop. Since those applications are cloud based, I'm basically pulling from them. And I just want to make sure I
Exactly.
understand. Wow.
Exactly.
So
So
does this
so
have to be Windows based? How do I ask this?
your
Can
device
it?
does not have to be Windows based. So you can connect from your iPad.
Holy
You can
crap!
connect from your Chromebook. You can connect from your iPhone, which we do that right now, right? So people with RDS, or people that we've put in the cloud already, they can connect from their iPads to their desktops. The only difference is that the desktop is actually running under Windows Server 2019. So in this case, it will be the server, the workstation will be running Windows Desktop Edition, Windows 10, right? So that's the difference. You are going to get certain things like, for example, photo viewer, movie editor. Those kind of applications are not available on the server side operating systems. Well, now if they're in the cloud, those will be available. So the
Wow.
thing is, yeah, you'll be able to connect from any device, and if your Surface does not have the compute power to run all your applications that you need to run them in the cloud, Windows 365, and you're not you're not using any CPU on your local machine to run those apps. The only thing your
Wow.
CPU is doing is bringing down the screenshots and taking the keystrokes up. That's all it's doing. Think of it like in the old days when people used to have dumb terminals and mainframes.
Hmm.
Same concept, but with Windows and the nice, fancy GUI and the graphic interface and all of that.
And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but what I'm envisioning with this is that everything that I currently have on my laptop right now that I use for work or whatever the case may be, that's something that I would be able to use basically in the cloud. And essentially this is for lack of a better term, a projector of everything that's being pulled from the cloud for me to work with without me having to degrade the efficiency of my machine. Is that am I on the right track with that?
Yes, you are. Yep.
Wow, that is exciting. Like, that is so exciting to me because I saw the when Microsoft first came out with back in the day, you had to get a disk and install Word and blah blah blah, and they're like, okay, it's completely cloud based now. You don't have to do all of that. And I'm like, well, damn, that's awesome. So now this whole thing that they're looking to do, even though you talk about Intel, to me just seems like it's game changing. I just look at it as this is something else.
Yeah, and the best part is the reason I'm excited about it is that we now don't have to manage the backend resources like
Mm-hmm.
number of CPUs, number of disk drives, the performance of disk drives, the amount of RAM. So we don't have to worry about any of that. All we do is we provision 30 users in Windows 365, and boom, there's their machine. Now, the only thing that we'll have to do, and this is on the back end, customers won't need to do that, but what we'll have to do for our customers is we will have to create the master image with all the applications that certain users might need, because enterprises use different types of applications. So, for example, there might be one company that uses, just as an example, QuickBooks. Another company uses ACPAC, while another company uses some sort of dynamic. So we'll have to pre-configure those applications within the master image, and then we deploy all the user machines from this master image. So once that master image is completed and ready, we upload it into Azure, and then we just, a few clicks, and we can create 30 machines or 300 machines. I mean, it's just going to be a couple of clicks for us.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so, what about just using everyday, for companies that, of course, use internet, whatever the case may be, to search. I mean, that is that impacted, and by impacted, positively impacted. I mean, is that still? They would still use their machines to do all of that.
So Not necessarily, not necessarily. So if you want to browse the internet, you can just connect to your Windows 365 and browse the internet from there. The benefit of doing that will be that Azure already has a lot of protection already built in. So for example, if there's a known host that distributes ransomware to machines, Azure, the border security is automatically going to block that. So it's actually going to be
That's
safer
nice.
to browse
That's
the internet
nice.
from your Windows 365 as opposed to your local Windows, and use your local Windows just as a terminal, just to connect you to the cloud. And then everything else runs in the cloud. Sorry, I hit
Wow.
the mic. So I don't know if you heard that.
No, no, no,
But
no. That's amazing. Wow.
yeah, so the thing is that it's going to be more secure. It's going to be it's going to increase productivity in a sense that users can connect from any device. You know, like I'm in the car, I'm on my smartphone, and I'm connected to my Windows 365, and then I go into my hotel room and I log in from my laptop, and I continue my session. My session never goes away. And then, you know, it's late night, and you know, maybe I've had a few too many drinks, and I go to bed. I wake up in the morning, and my document, my work is there where I left it. I mean,
This is
yeah. So
great.
it's a game changer in that sense that
It is.
it brings that capability to the masses. So some of our customers have already had that capability after they've moved to the cloud, but this brings it to the masses, and that's the difference. That's what's going to change the industry. Now, why now? Why is it happening now?
That's a
Well,
great
you know,
question.
connectivity is everywhere now with 5G now rolling out and things like that. Most devices are going to have some type of connectivity. So it only makes sense to rely on that connectivity, not have to get powerful CPUs on your local devices. Let the cloud handle that. And the good thing is, it's also good from an energy efficiency point of view, because
Yeah.
the servers, the infrastructure running in the cloud in these huge data centers is very efficient as compared to your local laptops. You know, so one server, you might need like, you know, 50 or 60 laptops to equate to one server. That one server, if you look at the workloads and the output, it's using less energy to do more work. If you have, you know, 30 or 50 laptops to do the same amount of work, they're using a lot more energy.
Yeah.
And all of that, you know, and then of course cooling, and then, you know, if there is a power issue, you know, disaster recovery, everything kind of changes. So yeah, it's I mean, I used to say we're living some amazing times, and that's still true. I mean, every day there's like so much new stuff coming out. And now from certain aspects, it's just incremental, right? So we're already doing this, but thing is, now this comes out to the masses, and that's what makes it different.
Yeah.
It's now accessible to everybody.
Yeah. And they're looking at really right around the corner. August 2nd is when I saw that this would be coming out. So this isn't like something that's static. This is something that they're like, hey, it's here.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, but initially, I believe they're going to have three different images, or three different sizes of machines. And then later on, they may add a lot more. And the thing is, you know, if they keep adding those, I'm just hoping at some point they bring virtualized GPU Windows
My
365,
Lord.
which is already available on the server side, right? So we already have access to that on the server side. But once that becomes available on the consumer side, in Windows consumer desktops, then think of it this way: you'll be able to play your fancy high GPU usage games in the cloud.
I'm a gamer, and that would be so awesome. I would love that. I mean, especially for and like especially for someone like me. I game, you know, on the weekends on my laptop, and I have to close everything down because I can see the lag come out of nowhere, especially if I'm playing like Ages and Empires or StarCraft or some of these classics. They take up a lot of power. So if they're able to do something like that, that's again game changing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that's the thing. It's going to it's going to change the industry very much. I mean, with all the security stuff going on, and then this comes in, and it's going to change entire industries. That's what's going to happen. There's going to be a huge impact on Intel. There's probably going to be some impact even on AMD making desktop CPUs. But the thing about AMD is that they have ATI, so they have graphic processors as well.
Mm-hmm.
So but then it's going to really lift up some of those ARM-based CPUs. So yeah, I mean things are changing, and then all on the heels of the security issues that are going on.
Yeah,
It's just changing the entire industry. Yeah.
Nice. I love it. I'm excited. I can't.
So
I don't know.
It just comes down to what price point Microsoft is going to put this at. And there's a few numbers thrown around, but I would pay a little extra for something like this if I don't have to worry about management of the back end.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a specialty. That's not, that's just more work. I mean, it's like anybody can do it. Like it doesn't require any expertise. So let somebody else do that lower value work then we can focus on higher value work.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm excited about it. And I think if it's priced right, even if it's a little more expensive than, what a machine would cost in the cloud right now, I think it'll be a lot of people will jump on it just because it's the ease of management and ease of setting it up and all of that. So,
nice.
yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. And they just introduced this at Microsoft Inspire, I believe. But yeah, I'm excited about it. It's awesome.
I like it. I can't wait to see it. That's nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's end the chat on that happy note that I'm sure people would want to get their hands on Windows 365 and try it out. Think of it like this: Windows as a service. That's what it is. Windows as a service. Just like Office 365 was Exchange as a service, it's now Windows as a service. So you can install just some, basic Linux on your laptop just to get connectivity and then run Windows in the cloud.
Nice. That's awesome.
So I think with that, we'll call it a day. Everybody have a great day and have a even awesome weekend. And we'll see you next week.
See you guys next week. Bye.